UNIFEM is a United Nations Fund for Women, and so I've actually been working for UNIFEM, which is now called UN Women, for over the last decade. Well, I grew up in Macpherson. And in the 70s and the 80s, Macpherson was quite a wild, wild west. You have sex and drugs quite easily available. I don't even need to leave the block to see my neighbors abusing drugs. But the bigger influence here is living in Circuit Road. There are two things growing up that I noticed. One, I grew up in a home that's full of love. My parents were loving and kind. In fact, my parents were some of the kindest people I've ever met. And growing up, our home was like a shelter. Anyone who needs a place to stay could come and knock on the door, you know. And for my father, as long as you're willing to eat the food that we eat and there's floor space, you can stay for as long as you like. Of course, as a kid, I did not know the home was a shelter. I thought like, wow, you know, I have all these kids coming for sleepover. I really got cool parents. 2003, and I saw an ad for a job as a translator. And it was to translate for a group of doctors and nurses who were going to Indonesia. I remember when I was sitting there in front of the girls who are working in Batam, the migrant workers who are working in Batam, and all the faces of my neighbors just flashed before me, and I was thinking like, wow, these are my neighbors. These girls who are working in Batam, they're working in the sex trade, they've been exploited, they've been forced into prostitution. I'm thinking, these are my neighbors, these are my friends. They all look the same and they look like me too. And this would have been the life I have if I hadn't grown up in the family that I grew up, if I hadn't received the support that I have. This is what I was in Batam, I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise awareness about sex trafficking. I'm going to raise awareness about sexual exploitation. I think that was the moment for me. It's my life. It's the community I grew up with. It's a community that I had the fortune to walk away with when I was a teenager. And so I'm back, you know, doing the work that I do. I couldn't help my friends because I was 14 myself. I couldn't help them, but I feel that I should really help those who are in the same situation as my friends, as my neighbor when I was growing up. Many, many women are stronger than we think. They just need someone to tell them and recognize that in them, to just come along and recognize that they are stronger, one. They also need to know that there are avenues of support, avenues of help. And the other thing I also see, a lot of women, their children is their biggest source of motivation. You know, they will do anything to support their children. When they are in an abused relationship, when they are being physically abused, the reason they walk out is because they do not want their children to be adversely affected. And that's been their source of motivation. They're very good at building partnership. They're very good at building collaboration. They're very good at building this community, this circle of women. So that's a strength of a woman. I had a lot of women who are mentors who support me. Through technology, we can still support each other to grow, to just be there. So I think that's key.